Hi folks, how you all doing? Cross6 here. Hope you're all having a wonderful day, evening, wherever you are. I always say that, don't I? Every time. Well, that's the kind of guy I am, you see. A happy-go-lucky, happy chappy. And hoping you're just having a great day or evening, whatever time you happen to be tuning into my channel. Well, thank you very much for tuning into my channel. I appreciate that. Anyway, today's video. I've got two games for you today. The first one being on Lakeville and the second on Studzanki in my Su-130 PM. Why am I including this tank again? Because I did a video on it recently, but I'm just trying to work it up to get its marks of excellence and all that kind of stuff. So that's the reason why I'm presenting another video. Well, it's not the only reason, but the main reason is I'm just trying to work it up to get my first mark of excellence, all that kind of crap. Anyway, today's video is all about when wargaming gods, or better known as RNG, decide that you're doing too well in the game, because they can't have you doing too well in the game now, can they? Because, you know, it would mean that it would be a plethora of unicums, and they can't have that now, can they? Oh no, Cross, they can't have that. But this game turned out to be a good game for me. And the second game, well, you can make up your own mind about that after this game. And it was the next game straight after this one. Is what I'm talking about. And you can always tell, can't you, in this game, usually within the first 2-3 minutes of the game starting, you know whether you're going to be winning, losing, or whether it's likely to go right down to the wire. Generally within the first 2-3 minutes. The way I find it, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but when the game starts, usually within the first minute and a half, you've either lost 1 or 2 tanks on your team, and they haven't lost any. And usually by about the 3rd, 4th minute, if you're down by another 2 or 3 tanks, you know it's game over. You know that you're just not supposed to win. But sometimes, you know, you'll lose a teammate, and then they'll lose one, and it's kind of tit for tat, vice versa on both sides. And then it usually comes down to the wire, where they'll be like you against 2 or 3 tanks, or somebody else against 2 or 3 tanks, and it, you know, sometimes it ends up in a draw. But the clock is ticking down, and it's getting close to, you know, that final minute countdown, the 59 seconds, and everybody's sort of watching in with bated breath, thinking, what's going to happen? Are we going to win? Are we going to lose? And it ends up a draw. But the reason for the video today is I had a really good, decent game on Lakeville in the Su-130 PM, and I thought, yeah, this is going to be a good session today. I should be doing okay, me thought at the time. But I find in this game that when you do too well, when you have a great game, everything just seems to fall into place, all the planets align, and you do well. All of a sudden, your next game, the tanking gods have stepped in and thought, whoa, hang on a minute, whoa, just hold your horses there, sunshine. You're not supposed to be doing that. I'll tell you what, right, we need to put something in place to stop him from being able to do that. Now and again is okay, but not every time. We can't have him having too many good games, because if he has too many good games, you know, he's going to be getting into the game and start having fun. And we can't have anybody having fun in World of Tanks now, can we? It's not an online game to have fun, it's an online game to empty your wallet as quick as they can. And once they've done that, they give you a couple of days grace where you'll have some fairly decent games and think, whoa, I'm a tanking god. And all of a sudden you find you're absolutely shafted in every orifice, because the wargaming's tanking gods, the RNG, has decided that enough's enough now. You've had your fun. No more fun for you, as Klaus would say. No fun for you. And that's what I find with this game. And I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that have the same issues that I do. And it sometimes gets so frustrating, as you'll see in the next game. And this is the game. This game here that I played here, as I say, I had a pretty decent game, and I was quite pleased with my little old self, and I thought I'll head over towards the valley and help with the choke point. I could see that the heavies were starting to push through from the red team, and I thought, well, I'll go over there and I'll see if I can give them a hand. Bearing in mind I'm in a tank destroyer with very little armour, and so the only thing that's going good for this tank, it was not the only thing, but one of the main things about this tank is the gun handling. The gun handling on this is normally pretty reliable, pretty accurate. Don't generally tend to miss too many shots in this tank. You do from time to time, but not very often, I have to say. And if you do miss a shot in the game, it's probably 1 or 2, perhaps 3 in the game max, normally. Most of the time your shots land. You don't always pen, of course, but then you've got to aim for weak spots and all that kind of stuff to stand a chance of penning. So I'm up against this big heavy tank here. You don't have a choice. You've got to start firing premium rounds. You have to, to stand any chance at all of trying to pen this guy. And I know that if I get return fire, I know it's going to be pretty much game over for me, especially if he fires high explosive. It will be game over for me. And these big tanks like this one here generally tend to use the derp gun, and when they do, lo and behold, when it hits you, you're pretty much very quickly going back to the garage to start on with the next game. But shall we say Wargaming's algorithm, you know, this thing that runs in the background of everybody's game, everybody's garage effectively is monitored. Everything that you do on this game is monitored, in as much as what tanks you've got, what the stats are on each individual tank, all the soft stats on all the tank that you never ever know about, and with Wargaming monitoring it all the time, the algorithm I'm talking about, the program that they use to put things on the screen, it monitors everything that you do, in particular how much silver you're earning, how many credits and all that kind of crap, and as to whether all your shots are going to hit or not. RNG, the random number generator, or the Russian number generator, as everybody likes to call it. And it's very true, it really is true, and it gets so frustrating, it really does. And I'm sure you've gone through this as well, where you just seem to have a couple of decent games, and then you'll have a kind of mediocre game, and then all of a sudden your games just go to absolute rat shit, and you think, well, what am I doing differently from what I did 2 games ago? I was having decent games. I don't understand. Why is it all of a sudden gone to rat shit, where your shots don't land and they're going above or to the left, to the right, or landing short, and when they do hit they don't pen, or they're missing completely. And you think, well, what? I don't understand what's going on here. This is normally a fairly decent tank for me. I'm normally doing quite well in this tank, and it's at this point that you kind of get irritated to the point where it really infuriates you, because you get passionate about the game, don't you? And you really get into the game. And let's take him out. Yeah, he's gone. But you get passionate about the game, and that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing in my mind. It really is, because if it was one of these mediocre games where you always did well all the time, and you always had, 20 gazillion damage every game and made 20 billion every game, you'd soon get bored. Very, very quickly, you'd get very, very bored. But what would be great in this game is to have some form of continuity when you're playing your game. If you play the same way, you're not always going to win every game. Of course you're not. You're not always going to have loads of kills and make loads of silver and all that kind of stuff. But if you could have some form of continuity with the game itself, instead of the RNG kicking in when you've had a decent game and you think, I'm doing quite well, this game's going well for me, on to the next game, and you do sort of similar. I think this game would be so much more interesting and a lot more fun. And it seems to be that Wargaming, with their algorithm, sucks the fun out of the game a lot of the time, especially with the frustration side of things. We've been killed here. We end up losing this game. But anyway, we'll move on to the next game, and then you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. I've done over 4,000 damage in this game, so a pretty decent game for me overall. And we'll look at the end plates at the end of the second game to show you the disparity between the two. So we're here on Studzanki, tier 8 matchup, no artillery again, which is good for me, of course, because you know how artillery love to zone in on me. So I'm thinking I'll go to the train tracks. Generally I tend to go there and get a few shots in normally. Not very often do you generally tend to miss. Well, you do miss, that's not true. You do miss, but the majority of your shots will land and they will pen. Now I know that there's an Object 7032 and they've got some heavies, and they always go into that middle part where they all duke it out. So I'm thinking, well, I'll switch over to my premium rounds to guarantee me a pen, at least to hit them in the turret and try and do a bit of damage to them. So here we go, this is where it starts. Miss. Let's count how many misses. how many bounces take place, and then keep an eye on the comments, because you can see near enough by the end I start getting irritated. So that was a miss, that was a hit. So let's just watch. Now I know some of these shots are a little bit difficult to land because of where the object 7032 is situated on the opposite side that I'm aiming at, but nonetheless this cannon on this tank is generally pretty reliable, and it doesn't let you down very often, that's for sure. So but this is what I find so frustrating most of the time. Now I'm not shooting here because I know that if I shoot here I'm going to bounce, because he's angled very, very well. So I'm thinking, well, okay, can I move forward a little bit and perhaps create a better angle to shoot it in? So I kind of pull forward and try and aim for his cupola. Yes, it's a difficult shot to hit, I get that, but the shot goes to the right and hits the post, the pillar. And at this point, that's when I should have realised where this game's going. But now I thought, no, I'll take another shot, take another one. Oh, that's a bounce. Okay. Well, let's reload. Let's pull back, reload, because he's going to start shooting back at me, because he's going to... there's the first one shot back at me. Let's take another shot. This one's got to land. This one's got to pen him. Ah, bounces again. Okay, now, yeah, he is a super heavy tank. I get that. And I'm using a premium round, and the distance between us and all that kind of stuff it makes a difference. But by this point, I'm thinking, oh, what, another bounce? So what are we up to? We're up to one miss, one pen, and 4 bounces at the moment. Okay, well, let's try again. I don't know where that one went. I think that landed short. I'm not quite sure. But do you see where I'm going with this? You can see where this game's going, can't you? Don't know where that one went either. Another ghost round. Didn't hit, didn't bounce, didn't go above, below. I don't know where that one went. Who knows? Who knows? But this is where you start getting really frustrated with this game. Oh, another. Don't know where that one went either. And this is when you know that the tanking gods have said, no more fun for you. Go and switch off and do something else, because you're not going to do well. Oh, another one that just disappeared. And this is what frustrates me. This is what gets me so annoyed and irritated with this game at times, because I can't work out why none of my shots are landing. I'm fully zoomed in, fully aimed in. That one went over the top of him. So there's 2 misses and about 6 bounces. Well, no, there's about about 4 bounces, and there was about 4 ghost shots that I just don't know where they've gone to. Probably still sailing away somewhere off the map. I don't know. But can you see my frustration? And I'm sure you go through this frustration too, and it just gets so irritatingly annoying that you start cussing and getting quite vocal. As if you keep watching the chat, you'll see very, very shortly that's exactly what I do. Don't know where that one went, no idea. And I've given up at this point. I thought, right now, this is just pointless. This is just crazy. Why am I even bother shooting? There's just no point in shooting, because it's evident and fairly obvious that RNG have said, no, you're not getting anything. That one missed. That's a fair one, because he pulled back as I fired, so I accept that one totally, that was a miss. And it looked like it was going on target as well. But the rest, who knows? I haven't got a clue. But I've given up at this point, and I thought, what's the point? There's no point in shooting. Obviously, I've just had a 4,000 damage battle, and the algorithm has obviously monitored that side of things and said, hang on a minute, no, you can't do too well. This next game, we've got to bring you down a peg or 2. So therefore, none of your shots are going to land, none of your shots are going to hit or pen, and so you're not going to do any damage throughout the whole game. And this is what I find sucks the fun out of the game. You get one game where you're doing pretty well and you think, yeah, that was a good game. Right, let's move on to the next game. Especially when you're trying to get your damage standing up, you're trying to get your first mark of excellence and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, we all have different reasons for playing this game, but I would say the underlying thread is that you enjoy playing World War II type tanks, where you're getting involved in battles and you're just having fun. You know, and that's what it's all about. And if it's not fun, then you just shouldn't play. And there is times in this game where even myself, I thought, I can't play this anymore. It's just got beyond a joke. And the RNG in this game, it really is getting beyond a joke. When you look at different various stats, and especially if you look at the leaderboards, there's not many people above 60% win rate. Not many people at all. And you've got to ask yourself the question, well, why is that? Because there's some very, very good players out there. You know, people like Skills for You, Quickie Baby, as I keep mentioning in different videos, you know, that have very high stats. And obviously they've been playing from the year dot, and fair play to them. Nobody can knock them for that. But at that point, I'd given up. So, do you see what I'm talking about now? So the Lakeville game, we made 2,000 plus credits. Not a lot, granted. Studzanki game. Well, Studzanki game minus 56,000. Did 400 damage. And out of all of that lot, I fired a load of shots of 13, 4 hits, 1 pen. There you go. Anyway, guys, I'll leave it there. Till the next one. Catch you then. Take care. Bye-bye.